So hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to replace transmission fluid on Toyota and Lexus vehicles, front wheel drive, 6-cylinder, 4-cylinder, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's not, well actually the basic steps are applies to all Toyota and Lexus vehicles. And this is applies to like front wheel drive on all-wheel drive vehicles like Camry, Sienna, Venza, Highlander, Avalon, Corolla, RX 350 Lexus, ES 350, so those types of the vehicles. To do a successful oil change, you need something like that. Transmission fluid, first, 3 quarts. This is an AMSOIL if you want the best for your transmission. If you want what works, then go with the factory. This is not the best, as you can see, it says synthetic, and that factory, it doesn't say it's synthetic. So, tools you're gonna need hex to drain the transmission oil and to get the overflow tube, hexagonal size 6, 10mm socket to remove to get to the refill plug, size 24 for the refill plug, somewhere around there, ratchet, extension, a brake bar, a funnel to get the transmission fluid back to the transmission after it drained, and the most important, you're gonna need this tool, scan gauge, because it will give you live transmission fluid temperature when the engine is running. This is actually better than the factory, because factory one or the Toyota product, the dealer used, the technician, it's more complicated, it's a lot easier, it's a lot harder to use. This stuff, plug and play. I have a review and I will post a link where you can buy it. Not this tool, because this infrared thermometer reads temperature of the surface outside. It reads the outside temperature. It does not read inside. The scan gauge reads the inside fluid temperature, not the outside. And this is what you want to know. What's the inside temperature of the fluid inside? You're gonna need to confirm something like that. What's the temperature for my transmission? So one of the steps for changing oil in Toyota and Lexus vehicles that do not have transmission dipstick is you gotta pull the wheel off. As you can see, this is a 2011 Lexus ES 350, but it's the same steps apply to Camry, Venza, Sienna, ES 350, RX 350, because they all have the same engine transmission. And it doesn't matter if it's 6-cylinder Camry or it's a 4-cylinder, because steps are the same. They are the same exactly, even share the same parts. So the wheel is off, you gotta remove those 2 bolts. Let me show you. These are 10mm bolts, because that's where your access, this is your little access panel to refill. There is a refill plug or fill plug for transmission fluid. Since there is no dipstick, this is how you get to it. So let's see. So just like that, you lower it, and that's the bolt. That's how you actually put the fluid inside there through that little, it's not little bolts, it's a decent size bolt. So first thing is to drain the fluid. So in this video I'm going to show you how to go from ATF WS to as you can see, AMSOIL, a better product. It's been tested by AMSOIL and it seems like to be very good product and very capable product actually of providing, in terms of providing protection for your transmission. Size 6 hex, as you can see right there. Right there, as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a washer there that it was stuck to the bottom. So, as you can see, the fluid is black, dark, It's probably never been replaced in this vehicle since it's around 49,000 and it's 2011. So it stopped draining now. So now it's dripping. It's not because everything is drained. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a overflow tube. So I don't remember what size is inside there. So maybe size 6. So you stick this thing in, just like that. So that's what I'm going to use, this little handy tool. So my hands don't slip. Or you can use a ratchet, it doesn't really matter. Whatever works, you know. Right there, not sure if you guys can see it or not. But right there, the red overflow tube is coming out. Over there is this overflow tube, and this is how you measure your transmission fluid. So it's inside, something like that, all the way. And when the engine is running at a certain temperature, I'll tell you later, if there is more than enough fluid, it will drain off, because I'm going to pull the plug. That's how you're supposed to check. So basically, the only time you check transmission fluid is when you replace it. You just don't check because you think you need to check the fluid. So this is the fluid that came out. This is the fluid color. This is what was in transmission. As you can see, not a whole lot came out. Thought there would be more, but you can see it's black as a tar, as asphalt. So it's, make sure your overflow tube is clean. You know, you don't want to contaminate, because why? Because it goes back to your transmission. So goes inside, and if it's dirty, you know the price you'll be paying. Actually, the price, you know what I mean. Your transmission is gonna go out on you much sooner. So this is the method, putting it back. Once all the fluid is drained, keep screwing it in. It's kind of tough going in, and then what I noticed, after being tough, and then it becomes so loose. It's like falling through, but you keep screwing until it stops. Yeah, it stops. Don't use the ratchet, because you're going to break it and push it in all the way. So that's the reason when I was draining, it was coming off easily, and then I had to use this extension, this little tools, because I wasn't able to, had no grip. The next, I'm going to put a plug. You can reuse the washers, or you can buy new ones. I looked at mine, and it looks pretty good, so I'm going to reuse it. Put it back, and I'm going to now measure how much fluid actually came out, the total amount. Don't torque it too much, because you're going to be pulling out the plug to drain off excess. So now I broke the drain plug, not the drain plug, the fill plug. So I'm going to fill it up with 3 quarts, white 3 quarts. So this is what came out. You see, it's not even 2 quarts. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I think according to the instruction, there's supposed to be like 2 1/4 or something. But anyways, that's why using the scan gauge, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to check exact level of the transmission fluid, how much it's going to give me. I'm going to put 3 quarts. I'm going to start the car. This is the steps, not the steps, but a little bit instruction as of the, and I will leave a link where you can get this information just for you guys to see how this drain and overflow tube works, or you can read it in my video. So when the temperature reaches, that's very important to have the right temperature and make sure the car is level. And then this is the normal operating temperature right there. So I'm going to be measuring this temperature inside. People use infrared thermometers to measure the temperature, but infrared thermometer measures the temperature on outside of the oil pan. It does not measure the temperature of the fluid on inside. So that's why it's very important to have the right tools to do it. So now let's fill it up. So 2 bottles are in. Now I'm going to put the 3rd bottle. Going to keep filling in until all 3 bottles are in. So So as you can see that I am using AMSOIL filling in on this 2011 3.5 Lexus. Putting the plug back right there, leaving the same aluminum washer there. You can replace, it's always better to replace. But so we are approaching 104 degrees temperature Fahrenheit. As you can see right there on the scan gauge, it's 100 degrees right now, TFT, transmission fluid temperature, and 181 antifreeze or coolant temperature. So once it reaches 104, I'm going to start draining. So it's 102, it's getting very close. So it's getting very, very close. I'm going to position myself so I can drain once it hits 104. Okay, it's 104. I'm going to start draining extra. Just be careful, don't burn yourself. It might be a little bit too warm. So the access is draining extra. As you can see, it's not even red color the way it's supposed to be, so I'm going to be flushing out, changing it once in probably 10-15,000. It's so the temperature is right there, 104 still. Since I drained less than 2 quarts and I put in 3 quarts, so it's going to take some time. Plus the fluid expands, so that's why the reason now it's 105 right there. Not sure if you guys hopefully can see it. And it's still okay. When it starts dripping off like that, now it's time to put it back. And that's it. My temperature is 107 right there. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm gonna torque it, and that's pretty much it. This is how you're supposed to do it, the proper way. So don't be afraid to spend a little bit more than $100 on a scan gauge. There will be a link in my description, but it will save you a lot of headaches. So I'm gonna torque it.